What's wrong with us? Why can we never seem to agree on anything? Are humans just doomed to argue and kill each other forever? Much of this has to do with our evolutionary history, which selected for tribal affiliation. Today we will look at the psychology behind this tribal attitude, examining the physiological and personality trait differences between liberals and conservatives. We also look at the effect that ideology, alternate viewpoints, and education have on this mindset. Hetherington and Weiler in 2018 noted that some of the psychological differences between conservatives and liberals have a lot to do with their worldview. Conservatives stand for toughness, liberals for empathy. They note that conservatives have a worldview that is more characterized by fear. The conservative response to fear is fortitude and strength. Liberals, it seems, are less scared and so try harder to understand other people's perspectives. So we see that conservatives are thus more suspicious of people like immigrants, while liberals are more likely to accept them. Conservatives have been labeled fixed in terms of cultural and social change, while liberals are referred to as fluid as they support change. Those increasingly dwindling number of moderates who are in between are called mixed. Conservatives and liberals respond differently in their attitudes towards dangerous stimuli. Those on the right side of the political spectrum are more attuned to danger and hence likely to erect psychological barriers to change. Liberals, being more open, are more likely to pursue alternative venues to change. Lab research shows that conservatives dwell longer on threatening objects compared to liberals. When presented with negative images, they spent about 3 times as long looking at them. They also blink more to threatening stimuli, what is called the startle response. Conservatives, in addition, have been found to sweat more when shown images of disgusting stimuli like worms or dead bodies. Liberals tend to score higher on the Big Five personality trait of openness, whereas conservatives score lower on this dimension. People scoring high on this measure are more imaginative, aesthetically sensitive, attentive to their inner feelings, prefer variety, are more intellectually curious, and challenge authority. Those who are low on this measure are more closed to experience, more conventional and traditional, like familiar routines, and have a narrower range of interests. Another Big Five trait is conscientiousness. People who score high on this are organized, dependable, careful, and disciplined. Those who score lower on it are more disorganized, unreliable, and impulsive. Conservatives tend to score higher, as you might imagine, on this measure, while liberals tend to score lower. High scores value tight-knit communities, duty, and order, whereas low scorers are more rebellious and likely to take difference with community standards. Other questionnaires that have been administered to those with opposing political beliefs have found the following differences. Conservatives think it is more important for a child to have respect for elders, obedience, good manners, and be well behaved. Liberals think it is more important for children to be independent, self-reliant, curious, and considerate. These differences reflect that conservatives have a strong respect for social hierarchy and, as such, favor organizations like family, church, and country. They favor authority and clear-cut answers to situations. Liberals, in contrast, have less respect for hierarchy and are more willing to question established organizations. Politics now are less about ideology and more about fear and hatred. Voters don't study the philosophy behind abortion, gun control, or the national debt. They just vote for their party and assume that the party represents their interests. Or worse, vote because they simply don't want the other side to win. Americans are woefully unknowledgeable about politics and cannot often name the Speaker of the House or the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Many are ideologically inconsistent. Some, for example, who identify as being conservative, will say they want small government, but then will consistently answer that they want more government spending on various programs. Can exposure to alternate points of view make us more moderate? Not always. Exposure to an opposing political viewpoint in one study made people even more polarized. Republicans in the study became more conservative, and Democrats more liberal in their approach to the debate. Rather than rethinking their positions, the participants became even more strongly convinced that they were right. However, there is some hope. Opposing groups who engage in positive, collaborative interactions go further towards understanding each other. Also, groups that work together towards a common goal, or who share a common enemy, agree with each other more. In addition, when these interactions are guided by mediators who are trained in conflict resolution, the outcomes are often much better. One proposed solution to polarization is better education. If only people had better access to good information and critical thinking skills, they would be less polarized, right? Well, unfortunately, the research shows just the opposite. In one study involving a math problem about gun control, liberals got the answer right more often when it supported their viewpoint, i.e. when the legislation lowered crime, while conservatives got it right more often when it supported their perspective. In another study, greater scientific literacy on climate change made climate change skeptics even more skeptical. The results of studies like these show that humans don't reason to find out the truth. We reason to find results that confirm what we want to believe. This phenomenon is called motivated reasoning, or sometimes identity protective cognition. It helps to explain why access to greater information on the internet hasn't really changed beliefs that much. We simply believe the information that conforms to our own view and discard that which does not.